Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. I'm actually doing this again because I just accidentally hit the stop button on the video I was working on. So now I'm doing this again. So, how do I explain this? This is actually a video that I did not want to make. But it's a video that I feel that I have to make because I will admit it's a topic that I have been avoiding, which is the infighting within Comicsgate. I generally don't really get involved in infighting because I know well enough. I've been a part of enough groups in life to know that infighting in a group is going to happen, especially as that group grows. So I'm generally of the opinion, let you and him fight, right? Why should I get involved? But today I'm going to break my own rule and give some opinions about Ethan Van Sciver and some of the views that he has espoused and some of the company he seems to keep, at least in the online world. Now, I want to be clear. I have nothing against Ethan personally. The biggest issue with Ethan I have is that he just tends to work on things that I just don't have an interest in. For example, a lot of his work, especially towards the end of his career in the mainstream, was at DC. I'm not a big DC girl. I'm much more of a Marvel person. And when he was at DC, he was working on Green Lantern. I tend to not be a big fan of Green Lantern, right? It's just one of those things where we just keep missing each other. He just tends to make things that I don't have an interest in. And that's not his fault. That's not his fault. It's just this odd quirk, right? I just tend to not have an interest in what he creates, right? That happens. But the reason I'm making this video is because Nerdette's Newstand made a video yesterday talking about how there were some people, some, not all, some, in, I guess, New Comicsgate. I had no idea there was such a thing as New Comicsgate, who were basically, giving her grief, giving her mess, and in particular, as she pointed out in her own video, were talking behind her back, right? Were, as she stated in the video, being kind to her in public, I guess, online and whatnot, but then going on Twitter where they thought that she wouldn't find out about it and trashing her. And I'm going to be clear, not just criticizing or disagreement, but trashing her on Twitter where they thought that she wouldn't find it. Aside from being reminded of songs like Walk by Pantera and Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani, this is the way my mind goes. I have to find that I do believe that those people, those individuals who did that, and she points them out in the video, so I'm not going to mention them here. I find that to be incredibly immature and cowardly. If you're going to go on a different platform where you think the person isn't going to be, and trash them. Not criticize them, not disagree with them, but trash them. Now, one of those people did come on to Nerdette's video and try to explain, I wasn't trashing you. I just disagree. Just because you shouted out my work doesn't mean that I have to agree with you. To which I told that person how I pretty much don't believe a word that they said. But again, that's in her video. You can check it out and see it for yourself, and come to your own conclusions about it, right? What I did was I didn't want to just take Nerdette's view on it. Not that I think she's lying or anything. It's just that naturally, as people do, they tell things from their own perspective. So I wanted to see the other side of it. So I checked out a few of the tweets that she had shown in her video online. More importantly, I decided to watch about 30 minutes of... Come on, computer. There we go. I decided to watch about 30 minutes of Ethan's ultimately six hour stream, as you can see down here at the bottom. I did not intend to show Heather Antos. So where? There we go. This is good. So anyway, here's the thing. So here's my issues with some of the things that so here's some of the things that I have to say about, and I want to be clear, the 30 minutes I saw of this Yell at EVS open live stream for debate video. Now I want to be clear, I'm not saying this was the whole representation of the live stream. It was 6 hours. It was ongoing when I tuned in yesterday around 9 p.m. last night. Obviously, I have not seen the entire thing. So I want to be clear, these are simply my thoughts about the 30 minutes I saw. I want to be clear. That's all this is. Now, in the 30 minutes that I saw, I did not see a debate, right? It says here that's supposed to be an open live stream for debate, but in the 30 minutes I saw, there was no debate. Maybe there have been debate previously, maybe there had been debate after, but at least when I was there was no debate, number one, right? And I want to be clear, I don't have an issue with that. I'm not saying there needed to be debate, but if you call something an open live stream for debate, then, I'm expecting to come in and see people debating, ideas going back and forth, not people literally singing EVS's praises about how he's charismatic and about how he entertains people with his streams for hours and hours on end. And I want to be clear, I have no issue with people liking Ethan or singing his praises, but again, just be honest in your advertising. If it's a debate, I'm expecting to see a debate, not the Ethan Van Sciver Mutual Admiration Society. When something is labeled a debate, I expect a debate, not, "Hail Ethan!" If you want to do, "Hail Ethan," then just say that. Open live stream to "Hail Ethan." So that's my first thing. My second thing is something that Ethan mentioned during the live stream, at least during the part that I caught, which is his opinion that the best way to support Comicsgate is with money. Now, it's not just that, because he is right about that naturally creators, need money to keep themselves afloat. Every company, every brand, be they independent or be they large, needs money for support. That's not my problem. My problem is this. Ethan, at least in my opinion, seemed to be, and I will totally float the idea that maybe I misunderstood him. But Ethan, to me, seemed to be saying that the only way a person could support Comicsgate is if they threw money at all Comicsgate projects, just because they are Comicsgate. Now, if that is what Ethan meant, then with all due respect to Ethan and his views and his years in the industry, I must respectfully disagree. I am a consumer. I am not obligated to buy anything, regardless of who makes it. That would be like me as a fan of Queen saying, if you're a fan of Queen, then you must buy every single single and buy every single album. No, I wouldn't say that, because the Hot Space album was hot trash. Body Language is a horrible song. I'm not going to tell people they are only fans or only consumers if they buy every single solitary thing, or they throw money toward every single solitary project just because it came from Comicsgate or it came from their favorite band or whatever it is. No. You can be a fan. You can be at least to me, you can be a fan. You can be a consumer. You can be Comicsgate, whatever in the world that is now, without having to throw your money at every single thing. You can support.
So
come on.
You guys. This is going to be. I'm going to open up the chat, and I'm only going to ask people.
So, as I was saying, now I lost my place. As I was saying, you don't have to be Comicsgate, right, and support every single solitary comic or every single solitary artist. Comicsgate, at least to me, has been and always will be about the consumer's choice. And in my opinion, once you are creating content, which Ethan does, he creates video content, he creates comic content. Once you are a content creator, right, the ball is now in my court, because you have to convince me that your content is worth me spending time and or money on. For example, I'm not subscribed to EVS's channel. Well, let me see here. Let me see if we can get the subscribe button. As you can see, I'm not subscribed to him. Why? Because he makes content I largely am not interested in. And again, not his fault. I want to be clear. He has every right to make content that he wants to make. He has every right to, rant all the livelong day about Star Wars and Rose Tico toys. But he doesn't make content that I like. It's that simple. As I said earlier, we just tend to miss each other. I'm not obligated as someone who identifies themselves as you would say, as Comicsgate, to subscribe to his channel or to buy his work just because he is a Comicsgate creator. No. I'm a consumer, just like anybody else. And I will consume what I want. If and when Ethan makes something that I want, then yeah, I'll either buy it, or if it's a video, I'll like it, or if he starts making videos that I'm more likely to have an interest in, maybe I'll subscribe to his channel. But until then, it's not going to happen. Until you make what is to my taste, right? Until your product and my taste match up, you don't get my support. At least in anything like a subscription or money in that nature. I sincerely wish Ethan well. I want to be clear. I wish him well in all of his endeavors. I think he's a good artist. I think he's a decent writer. From the little bit that I have seen and read of his, I did see artwork for Cyberfrog. It looks amazing. But on the same token, I didn't buy Cyberfrog. Why? Because Cyberfrog didn't interest me. Now what did I buy? So far, and the reason I say so far is because there's always content being created. So far, the only Comicsgate creator I have financially supported is Diversity in Comics. In particular, I purchased Jawbreakers. Sadly, I ended up losing both copies that I had. One was totally my fault. I left it someplace, and I didn't realize I had left it until 2 days later, and by the time I called in and tried to see if it was still there, it was gone. And then the second copy that I lost, I can't talk too much about it because of lawyers talking, but I was caught up in a sudden disaster last summer. There are going to be people who have been on my videos longer who will know what I'm talking about. But to those who aren't, I apologize for being vague. But again, because of potential legal action, I can't talk too much about it. But I was caught up in a sudden disaster last year, and most of my possessions were destroyed in the disaster, including the Jawbreakers comic, sadly. But just because I don't have the physical copies anymore doesn't mean that I didn't buy it. I bought it. I paid $25 for it, and I don't regret it. But at least for me personally, I did not buy Jawbreakers because, Zach is Comicsgate and I must support Comicsgate. No. I bought it because Zach presented a product that appeals to my interest, right? Jawbreakers is a team-based book, right? It had great art, which Ethan contributed to. I'm not gonna downplay his contributions for the art that he did in the book. I thought it looked amazing. But what made me buy that book was the team element. It had a very 90s action feel to it. I'm a sucker for that type of thing. And then there was that pinup style picture of Zashi, and I was like, I'm not usually moved by pictures of sexy women, but she looks so damn good. I'm gonna buy this. Usually a sexy man doesn't for me, but I guess everything's an exception, right? But overall, right, my point is that overall, Jawbreakers appealed to me, and so I bought it. Guess what? Zach also made Iron Sights. Iron Sights does not appeal to me, so I didn't buy it. My point being is that I'm gonna buy what I want to buy. I don't give anybody my support, especially with my money, just because they are, jeez, come on, computer. I don't give anybody my support, especially with my money, when it comes, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that I will not give a person support just because we are like-minded in a few things. Do I want the mainstream comic book industry to improve? Yes. Will they? Probably not anytime soon, but look, I'm going to keep ringing the bell. I'm going to keep pointing out that these comics are bad. And if Ethan or people, his supporters, I should say, feel that that's harassment, well, you better find a legal definition of it and try to pin me on that, because me expressing my opinion and criticizing is not harassment, it's criticism. If they're of that opinion, well then, we are at loggerheads here. I'm not of that opinion. I will criticize whatever I want. I will criticize Marvel, I will criticize DC, I will criticize Image, I will criticize Ethan, I will criticize whatever I want to, if I feel that it's worthy of my attention in one way or the other. You know what? I don't do a lot of movie reviews because I don't watch a lot of movies. So what's the point? So there's that. So that's my feeling on that. And the last thing is this, and I want to be clear. I wish Ethan well. I wish all creators well. And I steadfastly await the day when another Comicsgate project, or any indie project, really, because that's about the only thing I would spend money on, because I refuse to give Marvel and DC any money at this point because of how their creators treat the fans, even for stuff I like. But as for indie comics, Comicsgate comics, or whatever else, I eagerly await another comic, another project to come out that I like enough to spend $25 flipping dollars on. I eagerly await that. But you're not entitled to my pocket. Now back to I was getting a phone call and I was just waiting for it to stop ringing. But anyway, the last thing is that I want to be clear. I wish Ethan well. I wish him all the best. But I do think that Ethan needs to be mindful of the company he keeps, right? In whatever part of Comicsgate he now finds himself in, I think he really needs to just be mindful of the company he keeps, because at least from what I've been able to find thus far, the company that he seems to be keeping now are the type who will criticize not even criticize, because because criticism is fine in my opinion, but who will trash another creator just because that creator won't toe the party line, because that creator will not give unanimous praise to Ethan or Comicsgate or anything else, because that person disagreed with Ethan. It's not wrong to disagree with Ethan. And if you can't handle disagreement, if you are a creator of any type, be it videos or comics or even comments or anything else, if you cannot handle criticism, if you cannot handle somebody disagreeing, if your response to Nerdette's criticism is F Nerdette, which I did see in some of the stream. In fact, one second. If your idea of criticism for Nerdette, and I should take that back. It wasn't the stream. It was the live chat. But if your opinion of Nerdette in the live chat for saying that OG Comicsgate was about morals and whatever that she said is stuff like, oh, let's see here, from Llama Gigante, Nerdette was spurging in the chat last night. That's not a criticism. I don't know if Llama Gigante is male or female. I don't really care. That's not a debate. That's not a criticism. That's an insult. If you can't handle somebody disagreeing with Ethan on a matter about what OG Comicsgate is or was, then maybe you shouldn't be in the chat, Llama Gigante. If you can't handle somebody disagreeing with Mr. Sunbeam here, then maybe you should go somewhere else. Whenever you make content, there is going to be disagreement. If you're willing to put it out there, you've got to be willing to take it, in my opinion. And if someone is a creator and their behavior is, well, let me be nice, and this is not to Ethan, this is to another person. I think it was Black Angus reviews. But if you're willing to be nice in public with someone, but then trash them when you think they aren't looking, well, I've got no respect for somebody like that. And as advice to Ethan, if there are people in your live chat who are going to insult a fellow content creator all because she disagreed with you on something, then maybe, just maybe, Ethan, with all due respect to you and your experience in the business and for everything that you've done for Comicsgate and whatever version of it that you ally yourself with now, if these people, right, if the people that are attracted to your work or are attracted to your live streams are the types who will behave in this manner, then maybe, just maybe, you might want to be a bit more mindful of the company you keep. I'm not saying you have to police the live stream or the live chat, but just be mindful, right? Just be mindful of the company you keep and the type of people who are now flying your banner, as it were. Do you really want these type of people representing you? And they do represent you. So just keep that in mind. From one video content creator to another. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. I know I done kicked the hornet's nest, and I'm ready for the backlash. So we'll see what happens. And again, I mean this with all the respect. It does not come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of love. I want to see Comicsgate grow, but in my opinion, it cannot grow if this is how at least one segment of Comicsgate deals with somebody criticizing a big name, in particular Ethan Van Sciver. And if Ethan is going to label his videos debate, but then not feature debate, yeah, I do kind of take issue with that. But anyhow, that's the video. Let me know what you think. Yell at me if that's what you want. It's like the old song by Green Day, right? She. Scream at me until my ears bleed. I'm taking heed just for you. Anyway, I will see you all around. Have a good day. Bye.